Hi everyone, welcome to Solid Quests. I am Ed, your usual host, and today I'll be talking about Merv, the Heart of the Silk Road, a game by Osprey Games with fantastic Ian O'Toole doing the art and being designed by Fabio Lupiano, which I think that's how you pronounce the name. Sorry if it's not. So Merv is a very deep game. I don't know if you've watched the playthrough or if you're just jumping into the review here. So Merv, basically, just to give a quick summary to those who haven't watched the playthrough, in Merv we are basically, I guess we're kind of citizens. We're not really politicians. I don't know. We're a family, I guess. We're living in the Merv, the city. It's the heart of the Silk Road. It was once the heart of the Silk Road, and it basically we are trying to get the most power, the most influence in this city. We do this by either getting our courtiers, our influence in the palace. With the royal family, I guess, or with the mosque track, trying to get political or religious leverage. That's what I get out of it, at least. We can go into the market, do some trading as well. The caravan cards, we can trade with spices or with goods, do contracts. We need to have some influence basically by building walls around the city, protecting it, because the Mongols will be attacking it. So it's basically a very much a game about a political and religious, I guess, power and influence over a city. In this case, the city of Merv. Okay, it is a Euro game, and it's a very much a Euro game at heart. I mean, it's really Euro-y. With a lot of different tracks, all of the stuff that I talked about that you can invest in while playing. So again, it offers a lot of options from the start. Okay, so when you set up Merv, this is the end of our playthrough here. When you set up Merv, you're randomizing all of these city tiles right here in the middle. So this alone is going to give you, I don't know how many different configurations. There's a lot to grip here with this. This is just a fantastic. This is the heart of the game. Like Merv is the heart of the Silk Road. The city tiles is the heart of Merv itself. And this is going to basically dictate. This is the only thing that mostly differs on setup, okay? And this is what mostly will dictate your strategy during the game. So some of the actions are going to ask you. So basically, this generates resources that just blew over. And depending on if you have a city that has a lot of the same resource on said column or row, you can kind of bet your horses on that and try to get the actions that ask for the same resource, like these caravan cards, or like building these walls, okay, which actually you do need walls to get influence to be able to go on the caravans, so they kind of combo together. Or if the city is really very well mixed together with different resources in all rows and columns, then maybe it's better to go for the scrolls which ask for different resources every time you buy them. Maybe going for the mosque, which again asks you for different resources when going up, even though at the end it asks for the same, but it's two resources. It's not hard to get. So this city is going to mostly dictate your strategy, but still, the city is big, and in the playthrough we did. So I decided to end up going for mosque and scrolls, but there were quite a few. If I zoom in, there were quite a few rows with three resources of the same color. So I could actually start building up on those and go for the caravanserai, okay? But honestly, I think it's easier. It's an easier strategy, and I think this is a bit of a negative for me. I feel that the mosque, while not being overpowered, it is a much easier strategy to pursue than the caravanserai. Basically, scrolls you're always getting because you can always dabble in the market. I mean, market doesn't give you that much points at the end of the game. I mean, you could go just market scrolls contracts and try to get the most points like that. I don't see it being very too viable, I'll be honest. So for me, personally, it's either I go mosque or I go caravanserai, and I dip my toes on the other ones, okay? And caravanserai is way easier to go to because it's going to award you. It's like giving you combos and combos. It's awarding you with more resources, more scoring coming from other tiles. It's giving you these free walls, this free palace. These are really powerful, really good actions to pursue. So honestly, I think there's a bigger sense of escalation if you go to the mosque, because the resources you are getting while going at it, they feel really powerful, and they really help you build up a better point engine sooner, in my opinion. Caravansary, again, it's that end game. While you get some good resources from doing the pair of cards, so basically you can either get, so from two of these you get a white cube. If you get two of these, you actually get this white cube upgrade for one of the buildings, which is not bad. Two of these get you a favor, and two of these get you a ginger. Gets you a soldier, sorry. So there are bonuses, immediate bonuses from going to the caravansary, but they do feel, for me, they do feel weaker than this. But again, you can reach the end of the game and just get a crazy amount of points. Like I said, my biggest game thus far. Actually, I'll tell you exactly how many points I did. It was just crazy. And I went for the caravansary. It was the only one I did. The only game I went for caravansary so far. I lost. Yeah, I did 182. I didn't. Yeah, we did 135 on the playthrough. Not too bad. But on that game, I did 182. The Alfama did 214. So I did not block him at all. Honestly, I still don't know how he did that many points. It was crazy. He went for mosque and scrolls, but he stopped getting scrolls, so then he went to something else, which I can't remember what it was. But yeah, it was crazy. But again, like I'm just babbling here and dispersing my ideas. So basically what I'm trying to say is, I think if you start the game, you're going to be very tempted early on to go to the mosque. Caravansary, I think, can end up being more rewarding, but I didn't end up losing when I got that high score. So I don't know if it was going for the caravansary doesn't allow you to block the Alfama that well. I'm not sure what went on in that game, but I'm always tempted still to this day to go to the mosque, which again, it's a negative because I think the game shouldn't push you that much into the mosque itself. I think, I don't know, there should be some easier way probably to get the influence to start going for the caravansary, because I think that's usually why I don't want to go there, because I have to start building walls that maybe I don't even know where I will have buildings. So I'm just building walls just because, I don't know. I find it a bit weird in that sense. But again, it's totally viable. You can just go for the caravansary and just build walls where you think you will be building, getting those buildings, probably near caravansary, probably also near the walls, action spaces. Okay, so you can kind of predict where you will want to go. But just to say that this is fantastic anyways, being this stronger or this stronger, the heart of this game, this mechanic of choosing a column or a row with this fantastic board where each tile differs in resources and action that you can take, is just amazing. I just absolutely love it. I love how it forces you to go to the palace, and it's kind of costly to go to the palace, but I mean, you really need to do it. And if you start doing it early game, you kind of have to, place your bets, slide your ships on which thing you are predicting you will be the best at. I mean, like I said, again, the mosque is easier to predict because you just go for it. Okay, you just go for it, and usually at the start of the game you kind of have to make that decision where you want to go. Now that might limit the way you block the Alfama. This game is hard to get a good feel. Hard to get a good feel on. It's so deep. I mean, everything comboing with everything and giving you little resources for this and that. That honestly, for me, it's hard to get a feel on how to block the Alfama. I to this day, I really don't know how. So the palace for me, it's mostly how I want to get points, not really how I want to block him. Even though on the playthrough it ended up going pretty well, because the thing we wanted to do was the thing he started doing. So we just started going to the palace and blocking him there. But yeah, the way they did the influence and the favor track is really cool as well. I really like how you can just loop from one track to another one, because walls, we really didn't needed walls on this game. But at some point on the playthrough, I thought, you know what? I don't have a good way to do favor, so I'll just do walls. I'll get influence, and that's going to loop me around and start getting me a lot of favor easily. So that's just what I did. I just maxed out my influence and just then started getting favor. So if you don't have a good favor engine or a good way to get it, usually with the contracts you can get favor easily. This is a great way to get some favor. And I love the way they kind of merge those two tracks together. That works fantastically. Again, another thing I love, the turn order. When you look at this and you want to do certain action and you want to get some certain resources, you kind of want to look at, where am I going here on this position? Do I have the camels? If I go here on the last space, do I have the camels to pay to go and jump certain positions to go first or second and go in front of the corrupt magistrate? Because that's really important, really important, as you might have seen in the playthrough. Really, this is a game where you should go and see that playthrough, because I think you can really appreciate the game if you look at it completely. But yeah, I love this turn order and how it builds upon this city, this center board, and it's just another thing to consider when you are deciding where to actually go here on Merv. Again, fantastic how the camels work for this. They work for the camel markets. There's just so many juicy decisions here, and it's really a brain burning game. Okay, but that's all related to the game. Components wise, which I usually start with, but I didn't here. I don't know why. The game is actually pretty good. The tiles are pretty thick. I really like the tiles. Graphic design is fantastic. This looks like a super busy board, but honestly, everything is super easy to understand. It is usually these Arabian themed games have these little intricate drawings, kind of simulating their art, which is lovely. But it gives the board, at least that's my experience, it gives the board the feel of being very busy. You see these decorations. You can't see it like this, sorry. These decorations on top. This, I don't know, it's very intricate drawing, but honestly, it's just making this look very pretty. I'm not a fan of the board if you don't have the tiles here, mainly because of this pattern I'm not a big fan of. But once you fill in this and place Merv at the center, I do like the board quite a bit. I think the graphic design is fantastic. How they were able to place it on just this square, every single thing, the action track, the city, the mosque track, the market, you have the influence, you have the place for the walls with the cost of each, you even have the point thingy here, you have a little reminder for the caravansary, the scrolls, everything is here, and this board isn't really that big. So way to go, props for the graphic design and the graphic disposition of the board. It is fantastic, and you have quite a lot of information here to go for. Now, if there's something that I wish this game had, would be a player rate for the solo game, because while it's not super hard, there is a little bit of overhead to controlling the, not exactly this guy, his actions. I mean, when you choose the place where he plays the corrupt magistrate, the cards are super simple to follow. Okay, these cards are just fantastically done, super simple. It's mostly with actually choosing where to place him here, because of all of the tiebreakers, where he has the most, where you have the most, he has the least for the high court here. As well, it's the same. So all those tiebreakers, I wish there was a bit of a player rate done to help you with that decision, because you don't need a player rate for these cards. They pretty much have everything in here. All the text is super clear. There's really no questions once you start using this deck, which again, this is done with a deck of 6 cards and it works flawlessly. It's fantastic. So basically, this has to work with that decision, or where he goes, where he places the high courtier's buildings or his pawn. And that's the bit where, yeah, a player aid would go miles for helping streamline the game while playing solo. I still have to go into the rulebook once in a while because I keep forgetting his priorities. So yeah, definitely player aid for that. But I'm not sure if there's one in Board Game Geek. I actually haven't looked. uh, yeah, that's on me. But hopefully there is. But again, this could have already bring one in the box. It would be pretty good. So yeah, still regarding the components here. Apart from the graphical design that we've mentioned, components are fine. I mean, if you've seen the playthrough, we have quite a few standard stuff with these discs, these meeples, these little buildings here. Pretty standard stuff, but the walls are pretty cool. I really like these gate pieces. We only get 4, but I mean that's good enough. I think there's a good table presence once you start walling up Merv. It does look pretty cool, and I do I do like these little camel meeples. These are pretty great. I really like this little touch that they went for with these little camels. So all in all, I think components are fine for what you're paying for. I mean, this is not a pricey game, and honestly, the tiles are actually thicker than I would expect. And again, you have the signature here of Ian O'Toole for the artwork. While I don't think this is his prettiest game, even though the cover is pretty stunning, and it's a game that looks really, really good on the shelves. But I do like the graphical design, how they organized the board. Again, I think that was a great achievement on their part. Now, talking about the solo game, which is, I mean, what this review is for, right? So in solo, we are playing against the Corrupt Magistrate, which is run by this little deck of 6 cards. Now, it is a super easy time to well, not to control him. There are two parts here on controlling the magistrate. One of them I've talked about in the component section, which is the lack of a player aid for where you want to place the corrupt magistrate's meeple. Okay, so in choosing his action, there is a little bit of overhead or too much tiebreakers that you kind of need to remember, and I think that it tramples a little bit on the easiness of play in terms of solo. I think a player rate that at least addressed those tiebreakers or those priorities in terms of action selection, both for the corrupt magistrate and how he controls the high courtier as well, which I'm showing this. I played it as blue, but other people might not. This is not always the high courtier. But yeah, definitely there's a bit of overhead, a bit of dependency on how well the player remembers all of those tiebreakers, all of those priorities. And I really wish there was that player rate that I've mentioned before. Apart from that, once you select not once you select the action is selected by these cards. Okay, you have to select the position itself, but then it's super easy. These cards, the actions are pretty simple to complete. The cards do have pretty much all the information you will need. There's not much missing here. Maybe one detail or another about perhaps the breakthroughs that you might have some doubts and consult the rulebook. But honestly, this is pretty easy to understand. You have the conversion of points if it's something that the corrupt magistrate can't take. So all in all, this is a bit of a it's not a negative because again, these are fantastic. It's not a positive either because the other bit isn't fantastic. How you must know where to place the AI. So it's a shame that it's a neutral, because I would love to give this a positive, because this is it, 6 cards, and you can play the game with these 6 cards. And I love how, if there's something he doesn't do, like basically he is repeating these 4 cards, so he will be basically addressing these 4 points in the game, trying to focus on those aspects, trying to maximize his points in these 4 actions. If he can't do one of them, or if he maxes out one of them, he just throws that card away and starts drawing another one. I really like how this little deck of 6 cards completely manages his efficiency and does so very, very well. Again, it's really hard for me to say it's neutral. It's really not. It's neutral positive. I just wish there was that little player rate. At this time, I've played 6 games. I still have to check the rulebook once in a while to remember those tiebreakers of where he wants to place his meeple or where he wants to the high courtier to go. Unfortunately, that's really the only negative here with the AI. Apart from that, it is fantastic. It is very challenging, which in a game of this type in a Euro a game, you really want to challenge because I mean, again, this is not a narrative game, so there's not really that push to come back to discover more of the story or other aspects. I mean, it is what it is. You have all of the tools of the game always available to you every time you play, so the draw you need to come back to the game has to in terms of solo has to be the difficulty of the AI and actually challenging you to find new ways to surpass and win against the AI. I've played 2 games of this where I went for Mosque Trek, and those are the 2 games that I've won. I felt that this game was pretty tight. I think what actually tipped the scales for me was that I was able to block the AI efficiently. I think I was pretty efficient in this game blocking him, and that's going to be a very important part while playing the AI. And again, it's another added challenge, which I think is fantastic. I really like the difficulty. The difficulty scale here on Merv. Right now, my challenge, and I do feel compelled to come back to it, will be to win against the AI by trying out different methods, the caravansary, and trying to really go on contracts and market and contract those goods with the scrolls, trying to win a game with those 2 other strategies, not just the mosque. That's really a drawback, and I do feel compelled to come back to it and try it. It's a game that again feels really good to push all these different buttons and see what you can get out of each of them. So something I haven't really talked about is the theme integration with Euros. Usually, theme is a touchy subject. Let's put it like that. We do start to see quite a few Euros that are very thematic. Lacerda's Euros usually are. The actions you are doing are kind of easy to explain to someone. Because he ties the theme, or he chooses a theme that ties really well with those mechanics. Does that happen here? With some aspects, I guess. So stuff like the mosque track, it's just a track. It could be a mosque track, it could be something else. Now, I do like the city, how the display is done here with the city. And I do, so there are some aspects which I think are pretty well integrated with theme, which are how the city works, okay? I like how the walls work and the influence. I think that's tied very well. Getting favored to use your courtiers on the palace, that works very well. It's kind of easy to explain, I would say. But then you have the mosque track, which is just a track. It's just completely abstracted. We have the market here, which I guess it's a simpler track. So I mean, it's not a hard to, if you had to explain to someone, it's not that hard. We do have a little thing here on the market which we didn't end up using in the game, which is you can actually spend your camels. Let's say I had an outpost here, but I wanted to buy something from here, this advanced city or outer city. I could just place a camel. I could pay a camel, okay, to travel from this disc to here and actually buy these goods. Then these camels would go into the caravan, so they would actually be powering up the caravansary. So there's a bit of a tie-in with the market and the caravanserai in that aspect. This is completely, in my opinion, abstracted as well. These are just cards that are in here. Why can't I just pick something? I don't know. It's this one, not so much. Really tight, but I do enjoy the walls, the city, the favor, and the palace. I do think there's a good theme integration. It's not completely abstracted. It's not a Euro completely that doesn't really relate to what they've chosen. I don't think it is that way. There are some thematic tie-ins, although they aren't really strong or. I mean, it's a good theme. I think it fits the game well. It does. I mean, this central board, could it be anything else? Yes, it could. It definitely could. I don't know what, but you could certainly find probably another theme. But all in all, I think it's quite all right. I don't really see a problem with the tie-ins with the theme. Now, again, like I said, some of the things will be easier to explain because of the theme tie-in. I don't know if this was perceptible during the playthrough of how I tried to explain things, if some things were easier or not to understand. I guess the walls is what I think is the way is the easier thing to tie in with the influence and try to explain that and how you do need influence to then get more caravan cards, do more contracts. It makes sense, right? But yeah, like I said, some things maybe don't. Like, why do you need different resources to get more scrolls? It's just because. But yeah, it's not something that really affects gameplay. And with Euros, I honestly, at this moment, I'm not expecting to be baffled by a theme integration. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? Right, so I think I did about what, 6 games of Merv so far, and I have to say that without much of a doubt, this is my favorite game of last year so far. I mean, I haven't played Dwellings of Eldervale. I did not back it, and I did not get the retail. So I still have to play a few games, and I will. I will play a few hits from last year soon on the channel. So I have an order coming, so I will be playing a few. But so far, from what I've played, this is my favorite from 2020. There's so much depth in this game. At heart, I am a Euro gamer. I think that's what I prefer playing, even though I really like everything. I prefer hybrids, I guess. That's mostly what I prefer. This one is really a Euro game because there's a lot of tracks. But usually a game when I play it and there's a lot of options to pursue, I'm not really tempted to pursue other options. On this one, even though I do have that negative with the Moss track that I don't know, I'm not a play tester, I've only played 6 games, but again, I do get that feeling that this is a bit too easy to pursue, a bit stronger and easier to pursue at the start. But still, I get a kick at trying different things. I did try the market contracts, and I did try the Caravanserai to, fantastic results. It was my highest scoring game, even though it was also the Automa's, the Corrupt Magistrate's high scoring game. But this is a game where I feel compelled to go and push other levers. I really do. It's a game that, again, once this initial hype starts waning and I play like 10, 12 games, I'll probably pack it on the shelf and go for something else. It's not a game that I'll be just constantly playing. It's not a narrative game where I like Euro games, but I'm not one to constantly keep playing and returning to the same one. I do need a bit of narrative to kind of hold me to the game world and then give me a reason to start to continue coming back. But still, this Euro is one of those that really grabbed me. I love, like I said, pushing all of these buttons. Even this little thing here, which I didn't talk about, the camel market. Just having these different sides. I've even tried like going mosque with this available, the free mosque. I've tried going to the mosque without it, just to see if it's as efficient. So yeah, again, I've just tried pushing different buttons, and I will continue to do so. I just love all of the diversity of options that the game offers, and it's just one of my favorite Euros probably ever, to be honest. I really fell in love with this game, Merv, and yeah, it is a game that I will award it my solo commendation award, because I just love the game. Is this a game for everyone? Probably not. It probably isn't, but for me, it definitely is. And this is a game that I wasn't even planning on buying. I just got it because there was a cheap opportunity to get it. I got it, and it just blew me away. I was not expecting to love it as much. Fantastic game. Again, you push a button, it pushes some other buttons. You can usually see that in Euro games, but this core mechanic right here, this center of this board, this heart of the game, with all of the choices you have to do with the actions, with the resources, where to place your worker for the row, I mean, you might want an action that is not on the best row. Again, with the position for the next turn, it's just tasty, tasty decisions, and I love Merv so far. So yeah, again, it is a fantastic game. So far, my favorite from last year. I'll be updating this, and I'll probably do some video with my favorite game from 2020 once I get to test quite a few. But yeah, so far this is just lovely, and I love it. So yeah, in a nutshell, that is Merv. That is Merv, the heart of the Silk Road. A game that I've really, really enjoyed. I think it's a fantastic game. I love how everything works together with the different tracks influence, the palace, how you need the palace, how you need to get some favor, how some of the actions kind of build on each other in the way that the type of resources you need are similar, so you kind of can combo them. I love how you have to really read the display here of the city in the center of the board. This is super important, knowing how to read this to kind of anticipate and plan your game. It is really a delicious puzzle here that this game offers, and I'm really I'm pretty much I'm not baffled, but I am delighted with this game. A fantastic surprise on the part of Osprey Games, which I was not expecting to enjoy it as much. I have to say, this was not on my plans to buy. But I'm so glad I did. Like I said, this game will then get my solo commendation. It gets the solo award from Solo Quest. It is a fantastic game, one of my favorite Euro games in the last years, most definitely. I'm not going to say forever, but in the last years, this is one of my favorite Euros. So far, my favorite game of 2020. I'll update you once if that ever changes. And yeah, so that is it for me for today. Hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know if you have any questions regarding Merv, and I'll do my best to answer them as soon as I can in the comment section. And yeah, thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We have all sorts of solo goodness here on Solo Quest, more solo playthroughs, more solo reviews soon to follow for sure. And yeah, I hope to see you all in the next ones. And until then, stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye bye.